to do better. All right, and I'm so very grateful. Next year's focus, we'll switch from man to man next year. All right, so after we finish in December, when we come back in January, we won't be on man to man anymore. It won't be called. I mean, we won't use this anything like this title, but I was talking with my wife and also talking with the Lord about this the other day, and the Lord just spoke so clearly, and He said, "Next year, it's about the youth." All right, next year it's about the youth. So that's what I'm going to be talking about, real heavy next year. I'm going to be dealing with youth and children, because it's listen, we've got to make sure that we are nurturing our babies, that we're encouraging our babies, that we're lifting up our babies. And when I tell you they need it, I mean it. They absolutely need it. I don't know if you know all the stuff that your children are into. I say into, but all the stuff that they got going on in their world. I don't know if you know fully, right? But it's a lot out there, and we're going to talk about it. All right, we're going to talk about how we can protect our children, all of that. But enough about next year and how grateful and thankful I am. We're going to go ahead and jump right on into this man-to-man segment. So let's just do this. Let's jump into man-to-man. The focus for this month is men's spiritual health. Men's spiritual health. And I know you're saying, well, what good is that? Listen, after we deal with men's mental health, after we deal with feather, boulder, glass, right? One of the things that I know is so very important is that we as men, we've got to take our spiritual health just as seriously as we take our physical health, just as and let me just be plain, but we need to take our spiritual health maybe even just as or more important than we take our physical health. We need to take our spiritual health just as important, if not more important, than we take our mental health, right? And I say that in all seriousness. I say that because we know. I want you. I am encouraging you. We dealt with men's physical health already. I am encouraging you to take care of your body. Absolutely. I want you to take care of your body. You need to take care of your body, right? Right. You need to take care of your mental health as well. Your mental health is paramount. Your mental health is so vitally important, right? It's so vitally important because it is with the mind that we are able to do all these things that we do. It is with the mind. I mean, the mind, our mind is so important. But when the mind deteriorates, when the body deteriorates, what keeps living? What keeps on going? Your spirit. And I would not want to do all this work on this side of things to make sure that my body is in peak physical condition, and then do all this work on this side to make sure that my mind and my emotions and all of that. We dealt with emotional health as well. I wouldn't want to do all of that just to make sure that all of that stuff is in peak prime condition, and then I die, open my eyes on the other side, stand before a just, loving, faithful, kind God, for him to say, "Depart from me, you worker of iniquity. I never knew you." And you know what I'm saying? So just as we take our physical, our emotional, our mental health, brothers, I've got to encourage us. I've got to encourage us to take our spiritual health just as serious. I've got to encourage us to take our spiritual health. You know, here's the thing. Our spirit, as I said, our spirit, when we leave this earth, when we leave this side of earth, right? Where we're walking around in our physical bodies, when we depart from our physical bodies, they lay this physical body on to rest, and they put it in the casket, and then they take you and lower you into the ground, cover you with dirt. The spiritual part, right? It still lives on. It still carries on. And the thing that is so very important to me is that each and every one of us be able to, when we stand before the King, when we stand before our Lord and Savior, we're able to say, you know what? Or He's able to say, well done, my good and faithful servant. I don't have to you know, I know you. Your name is written in the Lamb's book of life, right? Some of us say, well, how is it? How is it that He will say, depart from me, you worker of iniquity? See, and then you know, He said, the word says, you know, many will say, Lord, Lord, in that day, many in that day will say, Lord, Lord, did not preach, did not teach, did not prophesy, I did all these things in your name. And He's still going to say, depart from me, you worker of iniquity. I never knew you. And you may be saying, well, how is it He going to say that? And I was a preacher. I was a teacher. I was a pastor, evangelist, right? Prophet. I was all those things, or any of those things. I taught Sunday school. I was on the deacon board, right? I was a trustee, but yet He said He never. Listen, here's the thing. Your spiritual health. Your spiritual health is more than just the work you do in the church. That's where I want to start with this. Your spiritual health, and I say I'm starting with this just because this is the first day. I'm actually on my way to a close here. But your spiritual health is more than just being on somebody's church roll. Being on a church roll is not good enough. Being on the church roll and or being on a deacon board or on a that's not good enough. No, because you can do all those things, and then when you leave the church, you go and sleep with every woman in the church, or every woman outside the church. You can leave. You can do all those things, work in the church, do everything. Then when you leave the church, you still, molesting, little children, young boys. However, you beating on your wife. You can do all those things in church and still live like the devil outside the church. And that's how there'll be many that'll say, Lord, Lord, did not do these things in your name. I'm like, I ain't know you. Oh, good. Yeah, you were in the church. Great for you. But being in the church is not merely enough. I want to ask you, and we're gonna talk about these over the next few weeks. How often do you pray? How and I'm gonna deal with this over the next coming weeks, but praying don't mean that you've got to get down on your knees, right? And you've got to, you know, uh, fold your hands and close your eyes. Sometimes I'm just driving and I'm praying, and it's not always, oh my Father, our Father who are in there. No. Sometimes I'm just like, Lord, look, you see where I'm at right now. You see what's going on. Lord, I just need, and sometimes it's not even always just Lord this. It's just like I talk to God Like I talk to some of my brothers, right? Some of these fellas, like, man, God, like, man, look, and it's not, I- it's about relationship. It's about relationship. What type of relationship do you have with God? Is your relationship with God like your relationship with your wife? Uh oh. See, some of us, our relationship with our wife is she do all this talking, and we just be like, yep. All right, look, are you done? Okay, I'm about to watch this game now. All right, look, go in there and fix me. We give commands to God. Uh, Lord, do this, Lord, do that. We ain't heard nothing God told us. God tried to he tried to speak to us and we ain't even listen. We just didn't even we just you know okay, and then we go back doing what we want to do. Is that how your relationship with God is? It so part of your spiritual health is prayer. The other part of your spiritual health is how much time do you spend in the Word, allowing God to speak to you. So prayer, we're talking to God, and God does talk to us if we allow Him. We'll talk about that when we talk about prayer. The other part of it is in His Word. God spends, if we spend time rather in God's Word, God would speak to us. God would talk to us. God would encourage us through His Word and give us revelation and insight for our lives through His Word. Right. And then the other way, I tell you what, I'm running out of time. I'm running out of time. So let me just close this up and wrap this up. Friends, I want to encourage you. I want to just take a moment to encourage you. We've got to, and I'm talking in particularly to the men, but this goes to everybody. We've got to take care of our spiritual health. Our spiritual health is so vitally important. You can have the best physique of your life in your 60s and 70s because you took care of your body. Your mind could be sharp and strong and well, and then you open your eyes and bust hell wide open. You've got to take care of your spiritual health. I want to encourage you, my brothers, my sisters. We're gonna dive into your spiritual health this month during Man to Man, and I want to encourage you. Make sure that you've got your spiritual health together. All right. All right. We'll dive more into this right here on I Am Encouraged Radio.
You're listening to Pastor James Chavis with great gospel music and daily encouragement. Now, at a new time from 9 a.m. till noon, we are Lake Charles Community Minded Station, KPPM 93.5.
All right. All right. So, real quickly, we've got just a few minutes left. Let's go ahead and jump right on into our All the News You Absolutely Can Use segment. So, we're going to go ahead and jump right on into it. As we jump into our All the News You Absolutely Can Use segment, we're going to start off on the National Hurricane Center's website. As we go to the National Hurricane Center's website, we're going to talk about Tropical Depression 12. Tropical Depression 12 is has maximum sustained winds at about 35 miles per hour, and its movement is west northwest at about 9 miles per hour. Now, it is still just a ways off of the Cabo Verde, so it's like a few hundred miles or several or 100. Anyway, it's miles away from the Cabo Verde Islands, which we know is not too far away from the coast of Africa. So, right now, it is a tropical depression, tropical depression 12, actually. So, as we continue to look at tropical depression 12, it will stay a depression. And over the next few days, right, it is going to just go right there into the Atlantic Ocean. No danger, No worry of it coming to us. Okay. So it's going to stay there in the ocean and then dissipate there in the ocean. Now, however, we do need to keep an eye on disturbance one. I've been telling you about Disturbance 1, but it's been called Disturbance 2 up until the Depression 12 became a depression. All right, so now it is now Disturbance 1. So it is sitting just east of the Windward Islands. All right, and it is a broad low pressure system located near the southern rather windward islands, and it continues to produce a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Now, remind you when I said that, I said the other day that when they sit low like that, and if I could show you the map of this thing, it's sitting right above, like right above the tip of South of the north. It's the northern tip of South America, right? And when they get that low, then they have the trajectory or the path of going north, right? Or just going more westward. If it goes westward, then we know that it'll go across the Cozumel, all that kind of stuff area, right? But if it starts to go northwest, then it has the capability of turning into the Gulf of Mexico. So right now, let's continue to read and see what happens with this. Radar imagery from Barbados and surface observations indicate that the system has not become any further organized since yesterday. However, upper level winds are forecast to become more conducive for development. And a tropical depression is likely to form over the next several days if it remains over water while moving generally westward at about 15 miles per hour over the southeastern and southern Caribbean Sea. An Air Force reconnaissance mission is currently en route to investigate this system this morning. Regardless of development, heavy rainfall with localized flooding as well as gusty winds to gale force are expected over portions of the Windward Islands, northern portions of South America, and the ABC Islands during the next couple of days. So that's kind of where this is. Now, again, it's right over South America. So if it decides to go on land on South America, that could cause it to break up, to dissipate, to weaken, which would be a good thing. It could decide to do like Ian did, go over land, then get back into the water and strengthen itself. We're just not fully sure yet. They're investigating it. But what we do know is that the formation chance, meaning the chance for it to turn into some sort of cyclone-like formation over the next 48 hours is a medium 60%. But the formation chance, again, meaning for it to turn into some sort of cyclone-like formation, whether that be a tropical depression or however, through the next 5 days is a high 80%. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that system. Okay. All right. All right. Well, let's go ahead real quickly and jump into your local weather here in the great city of Lake Charles. As we begin to look at your local weather here in the great city of Lake Charles, it's 79 degrees outside. Not really any wind blowing. It's a very calm, cool kind of day. It is partly cloudy, right? It is definitely partly cloudy out there. Um, it's 79 degrees. It feels more like 81. 86 is your high for today. 61 is your low. Going to be a mostly sunny day. No rain in the forecast. Then on Thursday, you've got a high of 88, a low of 62. Going to be a mostly sunny day. No rain in the forecast. All right. Then on Friday, you've got a high of 90. Temperatures kick up just a bit. Like I said, 90 is your high. 63 is your low. Going to be a partly cloudy day. No rain in the forecast. That's what we can expect over the next several days. Definitely want to encourage you to take care of whatever needs to be taken care of, right? I've got some tree or a tree that I'm gonna be cutting up in my backyard. Some fence that I'm about to, start taking down so I can put up a new fence. So I've got a lot that I'm going to do, and I want to encourage you all to make sure you're getting it all done as well. It's so very important that we take care of ourselves and that we help to rebuild our city as best we can. I know some folks like myself are still waiting on some sort of assistance or waiting for different things to pan out, to work out. Well, let me just encourage you. Do what you can when you can, all right? And then let the rest just kind of fall and go where it may. All right. All right, friends. Well, I've got to get ready to get out of here. Let me send my deepest condolences to everybody out there who is bereaved on today. If you've lost a loved one over the past week or several weeks, my prayers definitely go out to you and your family. Let me say happy birthday to everybody who is celebrating a birthday on today. If you are celebrating your birthday even this week and I have not done a birthday shout out for you, I do apologize. As a matter of fact, here is your birthday shout out.